You're listening to Spirit Talk Radio. Welcome to Spirit Talk Radio. This is episode 3. And today we're going to try to figure out how to find inner peace through shadow work. Many people are unhappy. This is because much work needs to be done in your inner world. We often live in our mind. Many people get lost. Many people feel depressed. So we look into the outside world for inspiration. Unfortunately, we live in a time where inspiration is gone. People are losing their minds. They are destructive in their behavior. There is a reason why people are clinging to unhealthy social structures. This is because people want to cling to something that makes them feel like they have a place in the community. This is why people search for a purpose. Unfortunately, most people do not find inner peace. They are focusing their attention on things that do not have any real value to help their spiritual growth. But once you do the shadow work, you can finally crawl out of the darkness into the light. Shadow work are things that we need to learn lessons from. If you're feeling guilty from bad things you have done, you can reflect upon these bad things and see how you could have done things differently. This is the first step on realizing that maybe if you could have made a different choice, the outcome could have been more positive or more productive in expanding your light. Take these lessons and apply them to your inner being. This will help you obtain your inner guidance to achieve love, order, and expansion. Many things that we think are important are not important at all. Eventually, we realize that we think about things that are said and done and reflect back upon them. This is one of the big lessons. You'll think, how could you have done better in a certain situation? As your wheels are turning and you're looking back on your life and you're reflecting on some of those bad memories, you eventually realize that you have nothing but love in your heart and that you feel guilty about the bad things that you have done to people. Or how could you have done something a different way to make it better? This is what life is really about. Learning lessons to help you gain more wisdom. The wisdom can be shared with others that may also be lost. What is the meaning of life? This is all up to you to explore in your inner world. We live in a life of duality. We have good and evil. Good is often more challenging to some because many people do not want to face the demons from within. But either way, you had to face demons, whether it be in the inside or outside world. This is shadow work. If you are a person of light or inner light, this world will give you many challenges. Earth is not easy. But if you do your shadow work, it will be one step closer to inner peace. Because when you take back your power, you will be able to control your life in a much easier way. You may need to set certain boundaries to protect your light. but you can also harness your inner light to help those that are ready to accept it. Some of us are born from light and do not comprehend evil. And these people are rare in this society because many people, especially the brainwashing from the outside world, is trying to teach young people that the heart is not important and only the mind rules. They do this. That way you have no emotion to accept the responsibilities of your actions. This gives them more control over you. But when you learn to balance out the fact that you are a loving spiritual being and that you must balance the heart and the mind, they both can bring you inner peace. Because if you just focus on your mind without empathy or sympathy for others, you become cold, calculated, heartless, and then you eventually go to the dark side. And once you go into the darkness, it's hard to come out. The darkness is a deep, dark place where people go when they have no answers and they feel lost and they have no guidance. Much of this could be due to the fact that they didn't have people in their life that gave them good wisdom and guidance and love. But you got to keep in mind and keep in your heart that you can find this love from within. Because when you find your love within and you connect to that, that will guide you in a more positive direction, where you can find order and peace in your life. Often people get confused when they look at the outside world and they think, is this the way I'm supposed to behave? And many people do follow blindly into that direction. And that is the reason why we are having a somewhat downfall of our society. Because we are witnessing young people being manipulated into just following a certain fad that will make them feel like they are accepted within the outside community, when in fact it is all an illusion. That outside world is not really in your home, it's only in your mind. Once you learn to break free from that spell, and it is a spell, you will find your inner light. And this will give you truth, awareness, and an expansion of your consciousness. And once you start thinking in a more positive direction, you will see that your outer world will change around you depending upon your inner attitude. It is important to give yourself self-love. Do not berate, belittle who you are. Give yourself value and meaning, and know that you are important in this life. You play a certain role that helps other people. And when you help one person, you help many people, because this expands the love consciousness. And once the love consciousness expands to the point where it is overwhelming, maybe this darkness and this loneliness and this feeling of unworthiness will disappear, and you'll actually see that you are the answer, and you can find a way to live with yourself. And you don't have to always have all of the answers to live your life. This is the mistake many people make. They want to know everything. but when in fact we are born with amnesia of not remembering who we are, and you are starting with a clean slate, and you will eventually discover things about yourself through interactions of people in the community. And you'll already have an inner knowing, an inner wisdom from your soul that will guide you. You don't need to worry. Stop worrying about the state of the world. Eventually, it will balance out. There will come a time where there will be justice in this world. Just be patient, but do not have that as your main focus and direction in your life. Your main focus should be yourself and your inner light to guide you. And if you can't find guidance from your inner light, this means you have to do shadow work. And this is how to find inner peace through shadow work. I want to thank you for listening to Spirit Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Dellinger, and please like and subscribe if you like this podcast. And if this podcast is on any other platform besides YouTube, thank you for listening. Thank you, Spotify listeners. Please follow this podcast. And if you're interested in my music, I'm Kevin Dellinger. You can find me on all major music platforms and Bandcamp, kevindellinger.bandcamp.com. Thanks for listening, and many great and good loving blessings to you.